Because what we certainly need is one more woman who hates Amy. I know you guys are a little confused. They did skip an episode last week, so we are back in the rotation of weekly episodes of Talk, and we're going to do tonight's debrief. If you haven't seen the episode yet, save it and come back to it later. Otherwise, let's get into it. This new intern that was Dr. Clark's daughter is giving stalker. Like, she's starting to terrify me. I also really enjoyed this week's episode. I feel like they do such a good job at balancing the story of the week, whoever the patient is, with everything else that's going on, and it doesn't feel like it's too much. It feels like they've got a really good balance of everything. Now, I have accepted that we are in the long haul for the relationships when it comes to this show. They haven't confronted that Jake knows about Sonia, and I would be very curious to see who she would date on her own. But I don't feel like we'll see that anytime soon, because obviously she is still confronting all the trauma that got brought up for her last season. But after seeing the preview for next week's episode, I do hope they put a trigger warning at the beginning. Did I cry at the gravesite? Of course I did. I wasn't expecting to just be sitting there crying at the end, but that's becoming a theme with our doc episodes every week. I have to say, watching the scenes with Amy in the pasture really hard this week, because she was in so much pain and she was just so incredibly mean, and I just wanted to hug him. Like, he was trying, and I get that there is that dynamic, and I feel like it's important to kind of show it where people have different beliefs. Sometimes the way in which you're reaching out is not the way in which it's going to actually be received, and so it's even more painful to watch, and it just hurt my heart for all of them, because you knew that she was in pain, but you also know that he was trying to help her in the best way that he knew how. And it's just that crossing and clashing of all of the things that he had, that moment that he could bring back to her of memories that maybe somebody else didn't know that they needed to give to her. It was so beautiful. Here's the thing about the Amy and the Jake of it all. I feel like I don't love that we're gonna do the yo-yo thing, more so because I feel like I don't want to spend the next however long wondering if they get together, if they're actually gonna stay together. And I know so many people are team Amy and Michael. I talked about this in a previous video, and like what your relationship pick can kind of say about what you want when you're watching TV. But at this point, I would just like to see them be friends on the show. And the fact that she straight up called him out, I don't know that I would actually have the balls to do that. I feel like I would want to, and the fact that she's just willing to confront things is one of those things that makes me appreciate her even more. But I had that moment of being like, yeah, no, there's no band-aid. The band-aid doesn't exist. She just ripped it off because we are talking about it. I am holding my breath a little bit because we're getting to the point where they are probably going to take a nice break for winter. However, we do have the Winter Olympics coming in the beginning of the year, so I'm hoping that they'll give us more episodes than maybe they would have closer to Christmas, because they're going to need to take that break, and everybody's kind of have to figure out how they want to balance when they're airing things. But otherwise, it was another really great episode this week. It was emotional, it was character moving, and I am quite terrified of the new intern.